Hello, everyone. I'm John Lynn, the founder and chief editor at Healthcare IT Today. We're excited to bring you another in our series of interviews with top leaders in health IT. And our guest today is Pat Murphy, he's general manager at TruBridge. Welcome, Pat.
I'm happy to be here.
Yeah, excited for the discussion. We're here at HFMA annual conference and a lot's happening here. But before we dive into that, tell us a little bit about yourself and TruBridge, which, by the way, I should mention is a revenue cycle division of CPSI.
Sure, absolutely. I've been working in the rev cycle for over 25 years. It's all I've ever done in my career.
Wow.
And have been with TruBridge for the last 13 years. Some of the things that we do at TruBridge is really focused on revenue cycle management. We're about 30% of our business is technology, where we have HFMA peer-reviewed RCM technology stack. We also have an encoder, TruCode by TruBridge, but also about 70% of our business is services. We're around outsourcing, complete business office, medical records coding, early out division. It really wraps up and we work with about 1,500 customers nationwide.
Wow, that's impressive. And I think one of the biggest topics here at the conference seems to be AI. Can you review a few of the ways that TruBridge's AI tools are improving outcomes in the revenue cycle?
Absolutely. You know, some of the advantages that we have from an AI standpoint is we do provide services. So we're not a technology company out there creating tools to give to someone. We actually can, as kind of an incubator. We test it on ourselves. And so our AI tools really focuses on our services that we deliver to customers. So some of the things that we're doing is around, small balance write-offs, trying to work in predicting denials, and then appeal letters, really going down to those mundane tasks that your staff work on every day. Because in the rev cycle, it's really like Lego blocks. There's a lot of blocks that have to happen ultimately to collect that dollar. And so we're really focusing on automating those tools that will allow our employees to have greater satisfaction with their jobs.
That's a really interesting way to look at it because it is the mundane task that no one wants to do, right? That we're automating away, and it's making it more efficient and making job satisfaction better. I think that's a really interesting way to look at AI. It sounds like that's how you've taken the approach.
Absolutely. So, if you roll the clock back a little bit and when global resources came into play, rev cycle staff were very worried about their job. Going offshore. And so this is right in line, running parallel with that global workforce. And so what we're doing is really focusing on our employees, because the ideas come from your employees. And we embarked on what we call Dream Factory about 1.5 years ago, where we had a cross collaboration of all our organization to come together with ideas.
Okay.
And so if I knew how to be the best Blue Cross biller, then I should be a Blue Cross biller. The ideas are going to come from your staff. And so what we did was we broke down the silos of ideas, and then those ideas come into fruition. Because typically when you think about innovation, ideas are laid out there through a portal or some type of sheet, and then some executives choose which one's the best one, and this is what we're going to do. But what we did is we put it to a vote for our employees. And so we had over 250 ideas that we laid out for innovation opportunities. And what we did was we set a time frame. We set a 1-month time frame. And we had about 150 employees, 34 different teams. They came to play and they had a month. This was outside of their normal jobs. And it was after evenings, weekends to build some tools around AI and automation. And we actually ended up awarding over $400,000 in awards to our staff to automate. And what that did was it built in collaboration from our teams. It built in IT with operations and operations with analysts. And they came together as kind of these cross collaboration teams. And they saw the buy-in that they had. Their ideas were making it to the table. And we were really getting stuff done around automation. And so in that 30 days, we really have been able to deploy some RPA and some automation from that. And because of that, what we're doing is we're eliminating some of those mundane tasks. Who wants to come to work every day and push a button?
No one.
No one. And so what we've really focused on over the last 2 years is kind of a people first culture, where we look at our employees and we want to grow their career. We want to give them career mobility. We want them to feel satisfied in their jobs every day. And so what we're doing is we're eliminating those boring things and upskilling them and giving them the tools. A perfect example we have is in our early out division, where that's kind of an entry level customer service on the phone. Well, with all of the information that's coming from AI, call center's volume is going down. So you don't need as many customer service reps. And so what we've done is we've got programs now to train them to become billers, train them to become ultimately, if they want to continue down and be a medical coder. And so really buying that, buying in, and they're getting the buy-in that their ideas are making it and their jobs aren't on the line. So that it's been really cool to watch kind of the staff really embrace this automation piece.
Yeah, and I love that you're putting the people first. I think that's a powerful message. Let's dive into some specific examples.
Sure.
Payer denials are always top of mind for CFOs, rev cycle VPs. Can you give us some examples of how TruBridge is using AI to prevent denials up front, or even better manage denials on the back end, right? I think it's always fun to think front and back.
Yeah, absolutely. You always want to catch everything before it goes out the door.
Of course.
Some of the advantages that we have is because we have that peer-reviewed RCM technology, we've been doing automation before automation was cool. If you think about now, all the AI words, but we've been building bridge routines. If we're seeing this denial over and over again, and you need to make this action, well, we're able to stop that in our technology and make the action automatically so the claim drops cleanly. Some of the things that we're doing more sophisticated is really looking at historical data and coming up with, for this payer, for these sets of codes, this is getting denied 80% of the time. Well, how can we rethink what's going on before that? And really understanding and learning payers, because payers come up with different things every day to try to avoid the payment cycle or elongate the payment cycle. And so really understanding and learning that data, which is the core of all AI, is getting your true data and data integrity. And so really the things that we're working now is just predicting those denials. If it's getting denied often, why send it?
Yeah.
Go ahead and fix it ahead of time. It's rather than delay it a week going out than have to appeal it and wait 30, 60, 90 days afterwards.
Sure. Yeah, I love it that you do the front end, but also, look at the back end. I think that's what people want, is that full cycle, revenue cycle with services and technology. Right. You mentioned happier staff, which I think is an interesting thing, right? It's become so important as we need to retain staff, particularly in rev cycle, where, they have options to go their places now because of virtual teams, et cetera. But, many times the revenue cycle work staff has sometimes been intimidated by new technology. I'm seeing a bit of a shift there where they're like, I'm doing 3 people's job. Please give me technology to help me. What are you experiencing at TruBridge?
Yeah, so we again, going back to that people first culture and mentality, we survey our employees a lot. We want to know what they like. We want to know what they want to do. We want to know, do they want to grow in their career, or are they content in doing what their job is today? And so what we've really done is listened. And we do a lot of listening surveys and a lot of coffee chats to talk to our employees to understand what's important to them. Because it might be important to you, may not be important to me, and vice versa. And so we want to really learn our employees and get to know all 1,500 employees that we have and understand where they want to go with their careers. And I think what they're seeing is they're seeing our buy-in to them, and then therefore they're giving buy-in to the organization, to ultimately to those 1,500 hospitals that we serve. And our philosophy is if we have satisfied employees, that will ultimately allow us to deliver a better service, but ultimately will be better sustainability and better profitability for our customers. Yep. And so we really believe investing in them and growing them, because you're only as good as your weakest link. And so we want to make sure that all of our staff are ready to go at the right time.
That's awesome. Well, you spoke here at the HFMA annual conference, and your co-speaker is Wes Cronkite, who I actually did a video with him. You can go check it out at another Health IT conference. And he leads innovation at CPSI. What do you see as like that next innovation that your team is planning? And how will that impact revenue cycle? Yeah,
so I think the biggest thing is around data. We work with 1,500 hospitals, and the sheer amount of data that we have, as well as any other RCM company out there, is amazing. And so now we're able to try to bring that data together and look at trends, national trends, and be able to start predicting things. Because payers are, they deny a lot of claims. They deny a lot of claims for right reasons, and they deny claims for wrong reasons.
It's getting worse,
and it's getting harder and harder. COVID didn't make it any easier. They were down staff, and so what we're really focusing on is predictive. Really not that reactive, because you can go in, you get a denial for this code, and you write an appeal letter. Well, you can automate that. You can have the automated letter, but that elongates the cycle. But you submit it. It's not an automated payment. So it's got to go through your writing an appeal letter with documentation. Someone's got to review it on the payer side.
Sure.
So if we can predict those denials ahead of time, that's really our focus is to shrink that payment cycle, and you do that by not submitting claims that that they're not going to pay. So really focusing on the predictive side of analytics.
Very interesting. I love that innovation. Where can people go to learn more about TruBridge?
So you can go to TruBridge.com. If you're at HFMA, we're booth 319. and would love to talk to what we're doing, everyone, but what we're doing with TruBridge.
Awesome. Well, Pat, I appreciate you taking this time, and I love your deep expertise in this. You can tell you have a passion for RevCycle and this community. So thanks so much. Thanks everyone for watching and listening. If you want to find more great healthcare IT content like this, be sure to check it out at healthcareittoday.com or search for Healthcare IT Today on your favorite podcast application. Thanks, Pat.
Thank you. Appreciate it.